Hello, well, it's Locktail 34, the El Presidente, on day 89 of Sydney's COVID lockdown. Now, this cocktail was first described in the New York Evening Telegram in 1919, after the end of World War One and just sort of on the eve of the start of Prohibition. In 1920, a very popular cocktail believed to be created by Constante Ribalaigua in Havana, Cuba, in honor of Mario Garcia Menocal, the Cuban president of the time. Although there's some debate about whether the cocktail was perhaps created in the US. I'm going with the Havana story because it seems to match the rest of the facts. It was certainly very popular in Cuba, and not surprisingly, it became popular in Prohibition US, and then obviously in post-Prohibition US, when drinking these sort of cocktails was allowed in the open again, it took off again. Now, I made this cocktail according to a number of recipes that are around, and to be honest, I would have just passed it by, given it a 2-star or a 2.5-star. And then I did a little bit more research, and I found that there are a number of commentators who felt the same way. A very highly regarded writer called David Wondrich wrote an article in Imbibe magazine in 2012, basically about why this classic cocktail wasn't doing it for him and for other people. And I think the reason that he found, and the reason that I've now found as well, is you've got to think about it almost in the class of a Negroni. I think whenever you're looking at a cocktail, especially where you've got such variable products as vermouth as a key ingredient, the early recipes are almost half vermouth, half rum, and then some orange flavoring, you're going to get a lot of variation because of the vermouth. And the vermouth that was specified in the El Presidente was vermouth de Chambéry, and that particular vermouth doesn't exist, but this vermouth, which is readily available, Dolan's Blanc, this Blanc Dolan's, not the other two, is dry and sweet and clear, and it's from the same region of France. So this is as close as we're going to get to the sort of pre-1920 ingredients. So the cocktail calls for one part of vermouth, the Dolan Blanc. It also calls for Cuban rum, so you can use Bacardi, obviously, but I'm going to use this Havana Club 3-year aged white rum, an equal part of that as well. So similar, in a lot of ways, that this makes it like a white rum-based Negroni, rum instead of gin. Now, the other part of this cocktail is it needs to have some orange notes, and it needs to be red in colour. Now, the problem with that is, unless you can get your hands on some red Curacao, which is possible, difficult for me in lockdown at the moment. The closest I can come is orange Curacao, and I wish I could get a better or closer product to what they would have used back then. But you're not going to use very much of this. In fact, I'm only going to use about 10 ml, partly for the colour and partly for the orange flavour. The problem with orange Curacao is it's got a very artificial orange or very sweet orange flavour to it, and it's certainly not orange enough or red enough to carry this cocktail. So I'm also going to do what a lot of modern recipes do, which is add some grenadine in. Now, the problem with grenadine is it's got a pomegranate flavour, it's very sweet. I really just want the colour, so I'm basically doing the equivalent of a bar spoon, 5 mils, very, very small pour there. I could have actually used the bar spoon, but I'm really just after the colour. I don't want the flavour, and in fact, to sort of counteract that a little bit, I'm actually going to use some fresh orange rind. I'm just going to get some of that off here, and I'm going to put that in so that I can get some actual real orange flavour in. And I'm also going to add a little bit of Reagan's Orange Bitters. Now this is a way to bring that sweetness down, add a little bit of bitterness into it. So I'm going to add about 4 to 6 drops of orange bitters. And then I'm treating this like a Negroni and making this a stirred cocktail. I know a lot of the recipe books call for it to be shaken. There's no ingredient in here that really warrants that. And here I can sort of control the color. You know, I probably, if I really wanted to keep the sweetness out, I probably could have even gone a little bit lower on the grenadine. And when I taste it, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to add a little bit more orange bitters or not, because I really don't want this to become an overly sweet cocktail. I want this to have a really nice balance between the two. So I'm cooling that down with the stir, and then rather than treating this to a cocktail glass, again, I'm going to go in the Negroni style. I'm going with an old-fashioned glass or double rocks glass over a block of ice. Treating it like an old-fashioned or a Negroni. I'm going to get a little bit more orange zest out of that orange. I hope I said orange before. I've got a habit of saying lemon when I mean orange. Clearly we're working with oranges here. And I'm going to put that in as the garnish. Now that is a much better cocktail than the first attempt that I made. I still don't think I've quite got it there, but I think with the Dolan Blanc, some authentic Havana rum, you can get some even better Cuban rum if you're willing to pay for it. If I wasn't in lockdown and I was really pursuing the ingredients, I'd probably try and find a more authentic red Curaçao to go with it, and then I could drop or at least really minimize the amount of grenadine that's going in. And I'm sort of fighting against that a little bit with the Reagan's Orange Bitters and the orange zest overload that I've added. But it's almost there. I just really, if I could pull that sugar hit back just a little bit, get a little bit more tartness and a little bit more out of that orange, I think we would have a great cocktail. But this is really making that point of how important getting the right vermouth for a vermouth heavy cocktail is. And I'm going to do a video specifically on vermouth in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, that's Locktail 34. Hope you're doing okay in lockdown. It is lovely weather in Sydney. Strangely, we had the earthquake in Melbourne today. So hope everyone down in Melbourne is safe and well. They're struggling through lockdown just like we are. Maybe go and make yourself a cocktail and join me for the rest of these Prohibition era ones. Cuba was definitely the hangout for a lot of US citizens during the 13 years of US Prohibition. So not surprisingly, Cuban cocktails and Prohibition go hand in hand. Cheers, bye for now.